الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge with Allah from the Satan the stone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Peace be unto you and His mercy and His blessings. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Islamic Propagation Center to a lecture on what Al-Quran says about Muslim submitter. I will explain to you the format of the lecture in your booklets if you open them. On the right hand side, if you open page 2, on the right hand side is the Arabic ayat, and on the left page is the translation. The speaker, Brother Muhammad Shaikh, will deliver this speech based on these ayats. You are requested to follow them as in the booklet and verify them. At the same time, I do request all of you that if you do have a question in your mind arising during this talk, please note it down on a piece of paper. Do not at all interrupt the speaker during his speech. You will be given a chance during the question and answer session at the end of this lecture to come up to the mic on my right and ask the questions. I will not delay any further on this topic, and I would request Brother Muhammad Shaikh to come up to the mic and deliver his speech. Brother Muhammad Shaikh.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. I seek refuge with Allah from the shaitan the stone. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace and blessings and His mercy to all of you, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. The topic is what Al-Quran says about Muslim, translated as submitter. Before I'll discuss the ayats as to what Al-Quran has to say about the word, the Muslim, that has occurred in the different ayats of the Al-Quran, I would like to give you the meanings of few words because they are related to our talk or the lecture. There are certain words which are not translated, including the word Muslim. The Muslim has become an English word. In the dictionary you'll find this word English. Dictionary you'll find Muslim. But it means submitter in English, which is an Arabic word, has become an English word also, but it means submitter. Muslim means in English submitter. It doesn't mean who is submitting to Allah. He just means submitter. So when a person submits to anything he's submitting. He's a submitter. Now if I submit to ayats of Allah, Allah's ayats, the signs, I am submitting to Allah, submitting to His verses, His ayats, so I am submitting to Allah. So I am Muslim for Allah or to Allah. We all, the so-called, all the Muslims who are submitting to the ayats of Allah are Muslims to Allah. But this nature of man to submit is in all mankind. All mankind are submitters, meaning they have got the nature to submit to anything. But they have to submit in the true sense to the ayats of Allah. That is the lecture. You will find in the world, people are submitting to various schools of thoughts. In the whole world, there are religions which are prevailing by certain labels. Like for example, Hinduism. Hindu The word Hindu, it means the people who live in India. Hind, the word is an area. People who live in that area, Hindu, and the people who have got different concepts living in that India, Hind is the word in English, India, Hind. So people who are believing in certain ideologies or philosophies, they are submitting to a culture system. They are submitting, they are Muslims, submitting to a culture system. People living in the area of India, they are referred as Hindus. So they are Muslim submitters to Hinduism. You must understand what I am saying. Muslim means submitter. They are submitting, people living in India, if they are submitting to Hindu religion, so they are Muslim submitter to Hinduism. People who are following the Bible, so there are people in the world who are following the Bible, they are submitting to the biblical concepts, so they are Muslim Christians, people who are following the Christianity. So the word Arabic word Muslim, since it is not translated, so if I am giving the translation, you must understand how the world, all mankind are submitting to a particular school. People who are following Judaism, that ism that refer to Judah, and people who submit to that are Jews. So they are submitting to Judaism. So what I am referring to, that no man can take out this word Muslim meaning submitter from any man of the world. Any man or human being born on this planet earth is submitting. That means they are Muslim to whatever the school of thought they belong or they affiliated to. So they are the best. Basically this is the system, the deen, the judgment in the eyes of Allah. He has made man and He has gave the man the fitrah to submit, the nature to submit. So if he is submitting to a particular school, so he is a Muslim to that, submitting to that, submitter to that. So people who are Buddhists, the people are Muslim Buddhists, submitting to Buddhism. Who are Christian Muslim, they are Muslim Christian. So in every word, in every ism you add Muslim to it and give the meaning. Muslim submitter to Judaism, Muslim submitter to Hinduism, Muslim submitter to Christianity, Muslim submitter to atheism, Muslim submitter to his own vain desires, Muslim submitter to the devil, the shaitan. So whatever you submit is you are Muslim to that. This is the system or the fitrat of Allah made given to man. So ultimately what we have to submit in the true essence is submit to Allah's ayat or Allah's message that we have received in the Quran. So our object is to submit to the ayahs of Allah so that we become submitters, Muslims for Allah. That is the basic purpose of mankind in this world. That he has come in this world to has to give his account. So he has to become or to be submitting to the ayat or the essence for Allah. He should be a Muslim to Allah, for Allah. Otherwise, he is, if he doesn't know the ayahs or the governing ayahs, that means he is submitting to some other things, thinking that he is submitting to the Allah's message, maybe. So this is how that is why I am giving this word the meaning. Then Islam is another word that means to attain peace. Islam means to attain peace. So in the system in the world, people would like to live in peace. People would like to live in peace. Wherever there are certain rules and regulations, people try to educate, these are the rules and regulations. If you follow these rules and regulations, you submit to those rules and regulations, you are submitting to that rules to attain peace. And they give this label as Christianity. Or they say this is Hinduism, this is Buddhism, this is agnosticism, this is don't believe in God, this is atheism. In any ism, you have to follow certain rules. You have to submit to those rules to get Islam, to get peace, to attain peace. This is the system of the whole world. But they do not give you, they give you the labels. Okay, if you agree to this ideology, you are this. You agree to this idea, you are this. But basically, you are submitting to a certain thing, you are Muslim. What are you trying to achieve? Peace, Islam. But you will never attain peace until you follow the ayahs of Allah or the submission to the ayahs of Allah. But what I am trying to say, the whole world is not following their nature is basically devised as such that they have to submit. They will submit to one or another thing. If they don't submit to the ayahs of Allah, they are submitting to any particular school. And for that, they are thinking that they are attaining Islam or peace, but the label they may put on themselves whatsoever. That is what the label they put. So now we will see what the ayahs of Allah has to say about Islam, just to the 1 2 verse, and then we will see how the word Muslim has occurred in the ayahs of Allah. For that we go to Surah Al Imran 3 and ayah 19. إن الدين عند الله الإسلام وما اختلف الذين أوتوا الكتاب إلا من بعد ما جاءهم العلم بغيا بينهم ومن يكفر بآيات الله فإن الله سريع الحساب. Surely ad-deen, the judgment in the nearness of Allah, is al-Islam, to attain peace. And those who were given al-Kitab, the book, did not differ except to wrong each other after knowledge came to them. And whosoever rejects with ayahs or the signs of Allah, then surely Allah is quick in taking the account. In this ayah, Allah is telling us what is the judgment. Because in all walks of life, people have to judge. They have to make decisions to lead their lives. There are many situations that they encounter. They have to take the decision. They have to judge what is right and wrong, what we have to do. So Allah is telling, Inna Deena Inda Allah Islam. Surely the deen, the judgment in the nearness of Allah is al-Islam, to attain peace. Meaning whatever you have to judge, you judge a situation, there is a problem in your life, you have to take a judgment in a manner that finally you should attain peace. That is the purpose of life. In life you want peace. So that whenever the problem or a situation arises in your life, you have to judge the situation and you have to take the decision in a manner that you attain peace. Al-Islam. So this is the ayat is saying that all the ayahs that are referred in the Quran, which Allah is giving certain rules, the do's and the don'ts. The muhkam ayat, the governing ayahs, by virtue we have to govern our personalities, our psyches. So there are muhkam ayat where we have to listen, we have to follow the do's and we have to follow the don'ts. And finally the result is that we have to attain peace if we implement. If we will not implement those governing ayahs, then you will not attain Islam, you will not attain peace. So this is what Allah is saying, that judgment in the nearness of Allah is as al-Islam, to attain peace. Inna ad-deena inda Allah al-Islam. Surely ad-deen, the judgment in the nearness of Allah, is al-Islam, to attain peace. وَمَا اخْتَلَفَ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْكِتَابِ إِلَّا مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَهُمُ الْعِلْمُ بَغْيًا بَيْنَهُمْ. And people did not differ to those whom the book was given, except when knowledge came to them. After the knowledge came to them, just to prove the other person wrong, to wrong to each other after knowledge came to them. So Allah is telling us there are people who have got the book, who understand the book, and when the knowledge came to them, they did not differ among themselves in the book, but they differ among themselves to wrong to each other, to tell the other person that you are wrong. You see, the problem is that the knowledge is something by virtue we try to influence the other person who does not have a knowledge. So when the knowledge comes from the book, instead of taking guidance, there are certain people who will take this knowledge and will try to say to the other person that you are wrong. The person who doesn't know, or the person who just want to argue just to say that you are wrong, is not getting anything out of it, just to influence the other person by the knowledge. Because people are influenced by knowledge. So Allah is telling that they did not differ to the people who were given the book, did not differ except when knowledge came to them, just to wrong to each other. Purpose is to say that you are wrong. So Allah is telling us in these ayahs that when the knowledge came to the people, they did not differ in the knowledge of the book, but they differ and say they made it a point to make the other person that you are wrong. So we must be very careful who are taking, we should take guidance from the book, or just we have to say that you are wrong means nothing. To say to other person that he is wrong does not give you garden. Garden lies for your guidance. If you follow and take guidance in your life, because this book is, the purpose of the book is to give guidance. Of course, knowledge will come automatically. You have to, guidance you will have and the knowledge will be there. But if you minus the guidance and you just use this book for knowledge, will not, the guidance or the purpose is not that. The purpose is to have guidance. وَمَنْ يَكْفُرْ بِآيَاتِ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ. And whoever rejects with the ayahs of Allah, Allah is quick in taking in account. So people who will just use and argue for argument and say that you are wrong, they will be doing reject. They will be rejecting the ayahs of Allah in the true sense. So like whoever rejects with the ayahs of Allah, surely then Allah is truly quick in taking in the account. So from this one purpose of this one particular ayah is that the judgment in the eyes or the nearness of Allah is al-Islam, to attain peace. Every situation that comes, we Muslims to Allah, submitters for Allah, should submit to the ayahs to attain peace. The judgment we should make is to attain peace, Islam. Now we will see what the word, how the word submitter has used, the word submit has used in the ayahs in Surah Al-Imran 3 and ayah 83. أَفَغَيْرَ دِينِ اللَّهِ يَبْغُونَ وَلَهُ أَسْلَمَ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ طَوْعًا وَكَرْهًا وَإِلَيْهِ يُرْجَعُونَ. Do they seek other than the judgment of Allah? And whosoever is in the skies and the earth have voluntarily, willingly or dislikingly, unwillingly submitted to Him, and they will return towards Him. Do they seek other judgment other than Allah? And people are seeking a judgment. They are taking a decision on a judgment other than what Allah says. Other than what Allah says, not to attain peace, but other than Allah. What the Allah has said in the ayahs to that they should take a inna dina indallah is Islam. If you are not taking a judgment that is giving you peace, that means you are taking a judgment other than what Allah says. So Allah says, do they seek other than the judgment of Allah? What Allah has said it in the ayahs of Allah, and you say you take a judgment other than what Allah has said in the ayahs of Allah. So Allah, do they seek other than the judgment of Allah? And whosoever in the skies and the earth have voluntarily, willingly or dislikingly, unwillingly submitted to Him. Walau aslama. Aslama means submitted. Aslama man fis samawati wal ard. Taw'an wa karha. Willingly or dislikingly, voluntarily or unwillingly. The things or everybody has submitted to the Allah. Now we have to see how. You see, in the ayahs of Allah, we see Allah describes the devil, the personality or the character trait of the Iblis, the shaitan, devil. Allah describes the personality of the kafirun, the rejectors. Allah describes the personality of the Nasara, the Christians so-called. Then there are people who are hypocrites, the munafiq. And Allah has described the personality of the believers. And there are other created beings or other like animals and the skies and the planets and other things. I'm just describing about mankind. So mankind is described by Allah in the positive sense and the negative sense. Or we can say believers or the unbelievers. Rejectors, believers. Hypocrites, believers. Mushrik, associators and believers. Now what in this ayah Allah says, if you seek the judgment other than Allah, meaning you think that you are taking a judgment other than Allah, actually you are submitting to the Allah's ayahs unwillingly, dislikingly or willingly. The choice is ours. The choice is ours. Either I willfully submit to the ayahs of Allah. If I will not follow or willfully submit to the ayahs of Allah, then I will be unwillingly, I will not be liking it, dislikingly I have to submit to the ayahs of Allah. This is, I am going to explain how. You see, when Allah gave the permission to the angels or said bow down for Adam, so all of them bow down except Iblis. That means the free will is given. The free will was given to Iblis, Malaika, and he did not bow. And then he wanted to justify by saying, Ana khairum minhu, that I am better than him. So this judgment is other than Allah. He said bow down. The judgment he took, no, I will not bow down. And he gave an argument that you have created him from dust and you have created me from fire. So he is giving an argument and reason to establish his own point of view. In spite of the fact that Allah has said bow down, he has to bow down. But he didn't. So now Allah said, okay, if you don't bow down, then Allah give him the permission, the whole system is there, what happened? Now I'm trying to say that still he knows that I'm going against Allah. And Allah says, if you're going against me, going against the will of Allah, now the permission is granted. Now what will happen? He will suffer in this world and the hereafter. The result is there. The result is he knows it. He knows the result. So now he is taking up the choice to prove that the decision that I took in his mind, that the decision I am taking is right. Knowingly that in the end I will lose. In the end I will lose. I will be punished. So this is basically dislikingly, he will suffer all his life in this world trying to establish which he cannot establish by misguiding Allah's those sincere ones. He said it himself, except for the sincere ones, I will not be able to misguide except the other ones, whom he is not. So he has taken the choice to be punished in the world, in this world and the hereafter. He has taken the choice. Similarly, his followers, dislikingly, they are not liking it. They were suffering and you drink. Ultimately you will suffer. You gamble, you will be in a loss. So people know this, I am doing wrong. Believe me, people know this. They say, yes, drinking is not right. All the doom, suppose I am telling you that those acts which they know that it is wrong, they say it is wrong, we agree that I should not drink, I should not gamble, I should not do this, I should fast, I should read the Quran with understanding. He says that. But dislikingly, he is not implementing those things, knowingly that it is wrong to me, and he is suffering also. Because of the wrong acts you suffer. In this world, we are talking about the hereafter. In this world you will suffer by not implementing the don'ts and the do's. So if you are told this is dislikingly, you are suffering and you are practicing the wrong. You are suffering and practicing the wrong. So that is unwillingly submission. Dislikingly submission. You are disliking it. That if you are addicted to any disease like gambling or this, you are giving a loss. You are saying bad things to you. I should not play and I should not do this, but still you are doing it. You are not enjoying that. Nobody is enjoying. For a period of time you enjoy. Otherwise, now it becomes a problem in your life. It becomes addiction. Then it becomes your problem, and then you want to leave it or you can't leave it off. So this is unwillingly disliking submission, because Allah has said it. You are doing it. The right and the wrong. So both the things are mentioned in the Quranic ayahs. So willful submission is, now you know that my knowledge is not complete. Allah has said it, so it is wrong. I should not do it. This is right. I must do it. The result will come on later on. So people who take a willful submission is for the liking. They like this ayahs, they voluntarily submit to it, and that is willful submission, the believers. The other people who are not believing, they are not doing great thing. It is already recorded in the Quranic ayat. If you will not believe, then you will be a hypocrite, you will be a kafir, you will be a rejecter, you will be a Nasara or a Yahudi or an associate or mushrik. So already people are defined in the behaviors of the wrongs, of the devil's footsteps. So Allah is explaining both. The willful submission is for the betterment in this life and the hereafter. And unwillingly disliking is that you are suffering in that, but still you are submitting. That is unwillful karha. So now, since this Quranic ayat, there is a, in the Quran, Millat Abikum Ibrahim, our ancestor Ibrahim religion we follow. So we will discuss an ayah from him, how, because he is our father, our ancestor, what and how he did submitted the ayahs and how did he submit it is referred in Surah Al-Baqarah 2 and ayah 131. إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. This is the ayah I am reading in the context of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Ibrahim alayhi salam is the father or ancestor of our religion, of the religion. So now this إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّهُ أَسْلِمْ, when Ibrahim's Lord said for him, the Lord of Ibrahim said to him, submit, aslim, submit. He said, Qala aslamtu li rabbil alamin, I submit for the Lord of the worlds. Now Allah said to Ibrahim alayhi salam, Submit. Submit. Aslim. So he said, Ana aslamtu. Qala aslamtu li rabbil alameen. Aslamtu, I submit. So now this, what I am referring is, I submit to what? Li rabbil alameen, for the Lord of the worlds. Not submit to foolish or ideologies. He is submitting to Allah. Allah said, If qala lahu rabbuhu aslim. His Lord, Ibrahim alayhi salam's Lord said to him, Aslim. That's an order. You submit? Do you submit? So Allah says, Qala, Ibrahim alayhi salam answers by saying, Qala aslamtu. He said, I submit. Li rabbil alameen, for the Lord of the worlds. So we Muslims has to follow the example of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Whenever Allah, this through him, he is telling us also, we have to submit. To whom? For the Lord of the worlds. That in the beginning I am giving you, Muslim does not mean a believer or what? Muslim means submit. Submit for Allah. And when for Allah, you must know the ayahs. Not the word itself. Allah is defined, or what Allah says in the ayahs, to His message you submit. Not the word itself. I submit to Allah, but you know what Allah says? No, I don't know anything about what Allah says. That is not submission. That is the submission to the just word. You have to submit to what He says, what the ayahs, in the ayahs His message is. What are the commandments? What are the orders? What are the governing ayahs that we have to govern our psyches? For that you have to submit. Now further you read in ayah 132, وَوَصَّى بِهَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ بَنِيهِ وَيَعْقُوبُ يَا بَنَيَّ إِنَّ اللَّهَ اصْطَفَى لَكُمُ الدِّينَ فَلَا تَمُوتُنَّ إِلَّا وَأَنْتُمْ مُسْلِمُونَ. And with this, Abraham, and Yaqub, Jacob, left the testament for his sons. O my sons, surely Allah has chosen for you ad-din, the judgment. Then do not die except you are Muslim submitters. Now, what Allah and the ayah said that to Ibrahim alayhi salam, you submit, and he said, I submit for the Lord of the worlds. Ibrahim alayhi salam submitted to Allah, and there are other ayahs which tell us he completed Allah tried Ibrahim alayhi salam and he completed the words from Allah. So that is another issue, how he followed Allah's ayat and the message. Now whatever the legacy or the testament that you left behind, that we also, wasa in Arabic means testament or wasiyat. You understand the word wasiyat in Urdu? So this is a testament which he left behind to his sons. He says, وَوَصَّى بِهَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ بَنِيهُ وَيَعْقُوبُ. And Yaqub alayhi salam and Ibrahim alayhi salam left the testament for his sons, left behind for the children. And what was that? Ya banayya, O my children, inna Allah astafa lakum ad-din. Surely Allah has chosen for you the judgment. Fala tamutunna, and do not die, illa wa antum muslimun, except that you are submitters. What was the testament left behind? That we have to submit for Allah. He said, O my children, surely Allah has chosen for you the deen, the judgment. What is the judgment? Inna deena indallah Islam. The judgment in the nearness of Allah is al-Islam. So Ibrahim alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam is asking their sons, Ya banayya, O my children, inna Allah astafa lakum ad-din. Surely Allah has chosen for you the deen, the judgment. What is the judgment? In the deena, the judgment in the nearness of Allah is al-Islam. To attain peace. So judgment you have to take is to attain peace. So here Ibrahim alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam is telling his sons, their sons, Ya banayya inna Allah astafa lakum ad-din. O my children, surely Allah has chosen you the judgment, that is to attain peace. Fala tamutunna, and do not die, illa wa antum muslimun, except that you must be submitters. Now this word is understood, submitters to what? What was the legacy? What was the testament? وَوَصَّى بِهَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَبَنِيهِ وَيَعْقُوبَ. How did Ibrahim alayhi salam submit it for his Lord? Ibrahim alayhi salam submitted what is it? إِذْ قَالَ لَهُ رَبُّ أَسْلِمْ قَالَ أَسْلَمْتُ لِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. When his Ibrahim Lord said for him, submit. That is the word submit, the command, the order, submit for the Lord of the worlds. So he said, I said, this is for what? That you have to submit. This is the testament he left behind. Ibrahim alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam left this testament that you have to submit for the Lord of the worlds. So the word in the end is Muslimun, without referring to Allah, is understood. In this context of the ayah, you know that that in the beginning the word was Aslim, id qalahu rabbu Aslim. When his Ibrahim Lord said for him, submit, that you have to submit. He said, Qala aslamtu li rabbil alameen. I submit for the Lord of the worlds. I do not submit to others, for the Lord of the worlds. This is the testament that he left behind Ibrahim Islam, Ismail for his sons. And who are the sons of Ibrahim Islam? Who are the sons? The Muslims. The Muslim are the sons of Ibrahim Islam. We must not forget that. All the Muslims, because he's our ancestor, he's our father ancestor. In the context that this is how this Aslim and Muslim is related to his personality. Because Aslim, he submitted to for the Lord of the worlds. Then that means we have to, the sons of Ibrahim Islam, immediate sons were said that, for what he said, we see that in the following ayahs, in the continuation. In ayah Surah Baqarah 2, 133 ayat. Am kuntum shuhada'a idh hadara Yaqub al-maut idh qali banihi ma ta'buduna min ba'di qalu na'budu ilahaka wa ilaha abaika Ibrahim wa Ismail wa Ishaq ilahum wahida wa nahnu lahu muslimun. Were you a witness when death came to Yaqub, that is Jacob, when he said to his sons, what you will serve after me? They said, we will serve your God and the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Ismail, and Ishaq, Isaac, who is one God, and we are Muslim submitters for him. In the end is وَنَحْنُ لَهُ Muslimun. We are Muslims for him, that is Allah. So now we see the ayah. This is when Allah is telling us the narration that when Yaqub was nearing his death,